Hey fans, we're back again. This time we're highlighting the best players in LSU history. When dealing with a storied program like the LSU Tigers, there are a ton of players who could have made the list, so for simplification purposes, we're going to narrow it down to the top 15. But before we get into that, do me a favor. If you're not subscribed to this channel, go ahead, click subscribe to stay current on all of our content and to check us out whenever you feel the itch for some fantastic football content. All done? Wonderful. On to our list. Starting with number 15 and kicking off our list of LSU greats is Marcus Spears. His path to college football greatness was a feat of its own. Spears was initially being recruited as a tight end and also played some fullback before settling in at the position where he would make his mark, defensive end. Marcus Spears became a full-time defensive starter in his second year at LSU and proceeded to wreak havoc on offensive lines and quarterbacks and never looked back. In his senior year, he set career highs in every major defensive category and solidified himself as one of the better defensive ends in school history. Plagued by injuries from the moment he entered the league, Spears wouldn't be nearly as effective as a pro, and he never lived up to his college promise. Number 14, Glen Dorsey had a phenomenal career at LSU and just got better with each year he stepped onto the field. During his final season with the Tigers, there may not have been a better defensive tackle in all of the land. As a matter of fact, he was the baddest defensive tackle in college, according to all of the awards he got to add to his trophy case. Dorsey was given the Bronco Nagurski Award, of course, the Outland Trophy, the Lott Trophy, and the Lombardi Award, becoming the only player to win all 4 awards. There was Dominant, and then there was Dorsey. He went on to be drafted 5th overall by the Chiefs in 2008, but never came close to the wrecking ball he was in college. Number 13, next up on our list, Morris Claiborne. A Jim Thorpe winner and unanimous All-American, Claiborne could cover with the best of them, and the coveted honors were a testament to his ability to shadow whoever he was lined up against. A former track star with long speed and short area quickness, Claiborne was one of the best cover corners to ever wear the purple and gold. He traded his LSU colors for the Cowboy blue, white, and silver and has been respectable and consistent at the next level as a starter when healthy. Number 12, there are 3 running backs on this list, and the first to get his name called was former standout Kevin Faulk. Starting as a true freshman, Faulk was given the reins to the backfield and he never let go, rushing for the second most yards in SEC history. Unfortunately for Faulk, it wouldn't translate as he would rush for more yards in his first 4-year career than he would as a pro. Number 11, how to describe Jamal Adams. Safety that hits like a Mack truck and can cover sideline to sideline like there's 2 of them out there. From jarring hits that leave opponents black and blue to disrupting backfields, racking up tackles for loss, and the occasional quarterback pressure, Jamal Adams was a missile on the football field and made his impact every time he stepped on the gridiron. A tackle monster during his 3 years at LSU with 4.4 speed to boot, Adams played like a safety built in a lab, taking all the best parts from all of your favorite players. He was selected 6th overall to play for the Jets in 2017 and is widely regarded as one of the top 2 safeties in the NFL. Number 10, it's never sexy to talk about offensive linemen and it's hard to effectively describe their dominance. But guard Alan Faneca was a brick wall in college who swallowed defensive players whole and made the best players disappear as if they got sucked into a black hole. Faneca had 210 pancakes in college, and in one game against the Florida Gators was simply referred to as the Beast for how easily he drove the Gators off the field and created 6-lane freeway-like running lanes for his running backs. He went on to be selected in the first round by the Steelers, where he played the majority of his career. Number 9, Eric Reid was a tackling machine during his time at LSU and was an integral cog in Les Miles' defense from 2010 to 2012. A safety able to roam the field and also cover receivers and tight ends alike, Reid was as good as they come, and during his final year at LSU was a consensus first-team All-American Unfortunately for Reid, his solid career as a pro has been a bit overshadowed by the backlash that followed him kneeling with Colin Kaepernick during the national anthem as a member of the San Francisco 49ers. Unlike Kaepernick, Reid has been able to continue his playing career. Number 8, the Robin to Odell Beckham Jr.'s Batman, Jarvis Landry, helped form one of the most threatening duos in all of college football. A physical receiver with fantastic hands and fearlessness to go over the middle of the football field, Landry was as complete of a receiver as they come and had no problem letting defensive backs know it. Landry's talents transferred well to the NFL. After being drafted by the Dolphins in the second round, he went on to catch 84 balls his rookie season. After a few seasons with the Dolphins, he was traded to the Browns, where he continued to be a force, only to be joined in 2019 by guess who? Odell Beckham Jr. Number 7. In Joe Burrow's final season at LSU, he put together arguably the greatest college season by a quarterback in NCAA history. His video game-like numbers raised the bar for both the program and college football and made his selection as number 1 overall by the Bengals a no-brainer. The only reason he isn't higher on the list is because he was, mediocre in his other season with the Tigers before his meteoric jump he took in his final year. Number 6, you can't have a list about LSU without having Y.A. Tittle. You see, back when Tittle played in the 1940s, there were much smaller rosters and players were asked to play on both sides of the ball. Known for being a good running back and an exceptional quarterback, setting all of LSU's passing records that wouldn't be broken until the 70s, Tittle was also a decent D-back. But in a forgettable moment for the LSU legend, Tittle intercepted a pass and had his belt buckle torn off. Tittle continued down the field, holding up his pants with one hand and cradled the ball with the other. At about the 20-yard line, after attempting to stiff-arm a player, his pants fell down and he tripped and fell on his face, just short of scoring the game-winning touchdown. Number 5, like Y.A. Tittle, Billy Cannon did his damage in the middle of the last century, so don't beat yourself up if this is the first time you're hearing of this guy. Described as an atomic cannon and ultimate weapon by then Vice President Richard Nixon, Cannon was a serious problem for defenses and was arguably the best in the game. He won the Heisman by an overwhelming majority in 1959 and was LSU's only Heisman until the little guy named Joe Burrow won it in 2019. Number 4, before the dyed blonde hair and before the spectacular one-handed catch against the Cowboys that catapulted him into the national spotlight, Odell Beckham Jr. was a show-stopping wide receiver for LSU. Basically uncoverable in college, Beckham was a defensive back's worst nightmare, getting the best of whoever lined up across from him. You've seen what he's like in the pros, and as a member of the Giants and now the Browns, could you imagine trying to cover this guy in college? A sharp route runner with searing speed, Odell was able to line up at any of the wide receiver positions and routinely just get open. I mean, in his junior year, he averaged nearly 20 yards per catch and also won the Paul Hornung Award, given to the most versatile player in college football. Number 3, big, strong, and fast. Just some of the adjectives used to describe Leanard Fournette, who even received comparisons to college football running back demigod Bo Jackson. Fournette could run through you, around you, and chances are if he got past you, you weren't catching him. Coming in around 230 pounds, Fournette is just a few meals shy of the linebackers who were trying to tackle him, and his 4.51 wheels meant he was faster than just about all of them. In his sophomore season, he had 23 combined touchdowns and had some saying he was the best they'd seen. When he entered the NFL draft after an injury-shortened junior season, he was selected 4th by the Jags and helped lead his team all the way to the AFC Championship game. Number 2. When you've been given a nickname that's used more than your government name, you better be good at football. Tyrann Mathieu checked the box and then some during his time at LSU, and his level of dominance is why he's so high on our list. Called the Honey Badger for his physical style of play and showing the tenacity to match up to bigger opponents, Mathieu was nothing short of legendary during his 2 seasons with LSU. After being dismissed by the team for violating team rules and reportedly failing drug tests, although his college stint ended with some controversy, Mathieu has played lights out as a pro, picking up right where he left off with the Arizona Cardinals and the Chiefs. The latter earned him a second nickname, the Landlord. And finally, number 1, arguably the best player ever to lace him up for LSU. Simply put, Patrick Peterson was one of the best defensive back prospects of his generation while at LSU. A true shutdown corner that travels with the opposing team's best receiver. If Peterson was on you, chances are both your quarterback and the commentator had forgotten about your presence in said football game. Excellent in every aspect of coverage, there weren't many chinks in Peterson's armor. Peterson wasn't only dominant as a cornerback, he was also excellent in punt and kick returns for the Tigers. Peterson was such a phenomenal football player that he even gave the offensive boost by practicing at running back and at wide receiver. After showing out at the Combine, he ended up getting picked 5th overall by the Cardinals and has been a perennial All-Pro and widely regarded as one of the best defensive backs in the league. That does it. 15 up, 15 down. LSU has quite the catalog of players to choose from, but there's no arguing that all 15 of these players are deserving. What did you think of the order? Anyone we left off? Anyone should be taken off? Let us know. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button and get the latest and greatest content from our channel. Until next time, sports fans, have a good one.